Okay, today I'm going to talk about why consistency is so important to achieving your health and fitness goals, whether it's weight loss, strength gain, muscle gain, or sports performance. If you look at any profession in the world, or you look at anything that requires any sort of excellence, or you look up to athletes, you look up to musicians, you look up to even academics, the one thing they all have in common that's allowed them to get to the point they're at is they were consistent day in, day out, year after year, for multiple years in order to get to the point that they're at, that you're now looking up to them. When you're first learning an instrument, for example, you have to constantly be practicing the same basic notes. When you're practicing your sport, you start out learning the foundations, the fundamentals of it. Whether it's soccer, you're learning how to dribble a ball. Whether it's basketball, you're learning how to bounce the ball. First two hands, then one hand. Or if you're doing a sport like track and field and you're just learning how to run. As weird as it sounds, to get better at running, you actually have to learn how to run properly first. So the same thing comes down, the same thing that's involved in that is also involved in any kind of health and fitness goal. If you're looking to lose weight, you have to be consistent. You don't have to be perfect, but as long as you're winning the battle, say 80% of the time, you are going to achieve your goals. Whether it's you want to lose 100 pounds, 5 pounds, put on 10 pounds of muscle, or you want to become a much better athlete, you need to be consistent. One of the biggest things to consider when it comes to consistency is you need to weigh the pros and cons of each decision that you make. One of the biggest detriments to someone losing weight is what they eat outside the gym. Yes, you can do the perfect exercise program in the gym, but it's not going to benefit you if immediately you go to a place like Starbucks, you have a 500 calorie drink, you have a pastry on top of that. So now all that energy that you just burned in the gym, you just refueled yourself with and then some. So then a week down the road, you look on the scale and, oh, how come I'm not losing weight? Well, let's take a look at the decisions you've made outside of the gym. The stuff that you must control on your own as a client or as a trainee or as a person that's going after a new health and fitness goal. Now, when you're looking at the absolute basics of weight loss, strength gain, muscle gain, it all comes down to exercise and diet. Those are the two foundational building blocks to all of it. If you look at anything, there's always a foundational building block to it, and it's all repetition. The reason why you do multiple repetitions of a squat is so that you use more energy in a set, so that you're refining that movement pattern. Why does a musician practice playing the piano with the same basic keys over and over and over? It's the same reason. Repetition builds habit, builds habitual tasks where you no longer have to actually consciously think about either where to place your fingers, or with exercise, you no longer have to focus on, okay, I have to move from my hips, I have to now bend my knees, oh, I have to breathe in, I have to hold my breath this way, I have to squeeze this. After you've repeatedly done it multiple times, you become more proficient at it. As you become more proficient at it, it becomes more second nature. That whole thing you hear of, it takes 10,000 times to do something right, it's true and false. To get something perfect, you have to practice something 10,000 times perfectly, is more how that statement should be. So if you do 10,000 squats improperly, you're going to eventually not squat properly as habit. Now, if you do 10,000 perfect squat repetitions, you will most likely all the time be squatting with a more perfect squat. The same goes for your diet. If you're 80% of the time perfect in your nutrition, and only 20% of the time you fall off the wagon a little bit, that 80% is going to outweigh the 20. One of the things I see with clients is they beat themselves up when, oh, I ate so much desserts, or I did this one day in a month, or on a special occasion. Days like that, don't guilt yourself. You should never feel guilt about eating something because it's something that helps sustain us to begin with. What you should be doing instead is, okay, I did this. It wasn't part of the plan. So now you take what you did that was quote unquote wrong, you take a step back, you look at it, and you adjust from there. Okay, so I had an extra piece of cake. Well, at Christmas or at my daughter's birthday or at my best friend's wedding. Okay, is that something you're going to do every day? Yes or no? If yes, you have to have a serious talk with yourself. If it's no, then okay, it's a one-off thing. So what? When you're looking at consistency and you're looking at weight loss, take a look at not necessarily just a single week, but take a look at a month, and across that month, look at the average of your intake and expenditure. So if you need, we'll use 2,000 calories as a nice round number since everyone likes to use that as a daily intake. If you need 2,000 calories just to stay at the current weight that you're at as an average, but say you have a special event and you have 2,500 or even 3,000 calories, okay, that's a blip on the radar. If your goal is to lose weight, you need to be at an average below 2,000 calories. So if that blip is here, but everything else is down here a little bit more, whereas like 1,800, 1,900, 1,500, if you take a look at that, now let's take that across a month, and although we don't like to think of weight loss and everything as just purely mathematics, the easy way to do it is plot all the points on a little graph and now draw a line of best fit, bringing you back to grade 9 and 10 math class, the line of best fit. If you notice that that line of best fit is below the average line to keep you at the same weight you are, you will lose weight. Or if you're looking to gain muscle and your protein is above the line that you need in order to be able to have a positive nitrogen balance, you will gain some muscle. The same goes for sports. The same goes for everything. As long as you're consistently doing the right things, you will have success in the long run. Whether it's you want to become better at soccer, you need to practice 100 shots a day, and you're practicing to be able to hit the top right corner. If you're consistently practicing to be in that area, eventually you're going to start being able to hone in that circle a little tighter and a little tighter and a little tighter. Same goes for why is it that soldiers and the police practice shooting? Is so that they become more proficient at it, so that they're able to aim for that same spot and be more consistently able to hit that spot. Snipers, they're able to hit a spot that's much smaller from much further away because they've practiced over and over thousands of shots. It's the same thing with diet, it's the same thing with performance, it's the same thing with anything health and fitness related. So when you're thinking about what does it take to see your success in your goals, at the end of the day, it's consistency. The more consistent you are doing the right things, the more likely you are to have success. If you're consistently doing the wrong things, first, you need to have a serious conversation with yourself on if it's truly important to you. Second, you need to then, if it is important to you, take a step back, accept that these are the mistakes that you're making with it, and alter the course so that you can get yourself on the road to success. I hope this gives you a little bit of understanding into what it really does take to get results, because at the end of the day, is consistency is what will get you the results. If you have any questions, leave them below, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below as well. Thank you.